What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Moguls. I'm Grant Findlay-Shirras, and today we are with a young hustler, superstar, rising star in real estate who, check out this CV. She was Realtor Magazine's 30 Under 30, Inman News' top 101 most influential people in real estate, Swanpool's Power 200 list, and top 20 social influencers in residential real estate 2 times, all before she was 30 years old. I met her the other day, and she's super humble and down to earth, which is also super refreshing in a world where there's sometimes some egos. So get ready and get excited to learn from Alyssa Hellman.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
So let's start with your story, help people get to know you and your journey through real estate and to where you are today.
Sure. So I was born in New York, and I got out as soon as I could. I went to college in Oklahoma, and when I graduated grad school, I went to grad school in Washington, D.C. When I graduated, it was in 2008, and then I graduated grad school in 2010, and I was kind of looking for a job, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Obviously wanted to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I got into real estate, and boy, was I wrong. I mean, it really taught me a whole lot getting into real estate at that age.
How come you got into real estate? Because, I mean, the market was just...
Yeah. I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess.
Yeah.
It was sort of it. But, I mean, I think getting into real estate at that time, I'd always been fascinated by it. I had just bought my first home with the help of my parents, and I had just bought my first home, and the entire process seemed, for me, really broken. And I wanted to dig into that and know more. That's always kind of been my nature of, I don't just want to do things in life, I also want to figure out kind of how it works. And, you know, have kind of those engineer tendencies of, let me break this down, let me look under the hood.
What were some of the specific things you actually didn't like in that process?
I felt like at that stage, and my agent was great. She got me the absolute property I wanted. She got it for me at the price I wanted. She handled everything. And from the outside looking in, I had an amazing experience. And I would have referred her to this day to other people. But it became one of those things where everything was being handled for me. So I felt a little bit one step removed. I didn't understand every step of the process. And for someone like me, that doesn't work for me. I wanted to know. And every time I kind of would inquire, it more was, everything's okay, God forbid I understand something, you know? And it was, everything's okay, you don't need to worry about it, we got that covered. And I appreciate the service element to that, but I wanted to be part of the process, not just a party to the process.
Yeah, seriously, if you're a broker or franchise owner and you want to get to know millennials, this is literally what we think about.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's the thing is like we have this reputation of being these entitled, lazy folks, and I feel like every millennial I know really wants to dig in and understand what is this process, how can I make this better? When we see a problem, we don't just gripe about the problem, we try and do something to fix it. And you know, that's something I've always loved about real estate is it's such a fluid process and a fluid industry that you really can kind of bootstrap your own fixes for things and make a big difference.
Cool. So you became a realtor and then discussed your journey through real estate, and now you're on the coach and consultant side.
So when I became a realtor, I joined Long & Foster, which at the time was the largest independently owned brokerage in the United States. I loved my time there. I worked my way up to management there. I was the youngest manager there at the time, and I learned a ton. And I moved to North Carolina. I joined a company called Go Realty, in part because the independent brokerage journey has always fascinated me. Like, I love passionate people that want to make a difference and have such deep-seated beliefs in what they're doing that I don't really care what you're doing. I want to help you in those moments. And so I've worked at quite a few independent brokerages, did training at those brokerages. Actually, we opened a school at one of those brokerages, and kind of took an independent tilt towards real estate education there, which was an amazing experience. And then in 2017, I opened my own consulting firm called Compass South Consulting, where now I get very involved with independent brokerages and their training. I help design their training, in some cases implement and execute their training. I also work with teams and individual agents, but my belief is I want to help others achieve their goals. And the independent agent, the independent broker, the independent team owner, all of those people are kind of chasing that dream and blazing that trail because they have this deep-seated fiery passion in them, and to me that's super inspiring, and if I can do anything to help them on that journey, I want to.
Cool. So let's talk about what you're doing for the agent and the brokerage. So there's business plans now for both these people, and with the industry moving in different directions now and shifting a bit and new technologies coming in, what are you finding needs to be different in the business plans for the agent and for the broker as compared to maybe 3 to 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Because the industry's moved even a lot in the last 3 to 5 years, and you were in it on the ground doing the work. So what are you finding is the different things that you now know people need to be putting in their business plans because of the way the industry's moving and the technologies that are coming out?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's 100% a difference, but I think our industry is so much more consumer driven than we ever have been, which I love because I'm a people person. That's what drives me. And so with kind of this uprising of tech, we sort of went to one polar end of machine automation, not people-driven, process-oriented. Let's refine the process, make it really streamlined. Let's handle all the details. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think we're kind of coming back from that, back to, Grant, how can I help you?
The art.
What do you want? Giving this personalized, customized experience to people, and being more nimble in those ways where you can respond to people and give them their individual experiences in a way that is really satisfying to them. And that's becoming so much more important. However, there's kind of that dichotomy of, well, I want to do something super personalized, but that's really, really time consuming. And so that's kind of where tech sort of intersects there and helps you do that in a really effective way.
Now, when you make these business plans for the agent and for the broker, they now got to go work that plan.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people who are on the coach consultant side or the vendor side providing services and technologies to an agent or a broker, where they are like, yeah, I made a plan. Yeah, I bought this product. I'm really excited to use it. And then they fall off the map. What are some things that you've noticed works to help those two people execute on that plan or on this new service that they're implementing? Right.
It's like anything. So like you shared with me your backgrounds in fitness. It's the same as a fitness routine. And I tell everybody that, where, just because you buy a bench press or a treadmill or an exercise bike doesn't mean you're going to lose 25 pounds.
Yeah.
You've got to get on the bike. You've got to pedal the pedals. You've got to make that part of your daily routine. And so one thing that I think is really different from 5 years ago is business planning used to be, let's make the plan, let's set the number goals, and then that was the end of the business planning session. And that's really a huge problem, because that's like saying, I want to lose 25 pounds, I'm going to buy this bike, and then not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we do is we work with you to say, okay, Grant, tell me about your day. What's your average day look like? Or what's your business really look like? Because how are you going to implement this? There's something called Parkinson's Law, and Parkinson's Law is we will use up however much of anything is given to us. So money, time, resources, whatever it may be. And if you think of it like an all-you-can-eat buffet, we're adding to our already full plates. And so part of business planning has to be, I'm going to carve out the spot for this new thing I'm putting on my plate. And for me, one of the things that I tell a lot of clients is the best time to really do that is mornings. I'm not inherently a morning person. I had to train my body to wake up early, but I wake up very early because those kind of 2 hours that I get in the morning from 5:30 to 7:30 before my kids are up and the outside world is really up and moving around, I get so much done. And that's when I can work on those really important tasks that are helping me move the needle forward. And it's the same for a brokerage or an agent. Like, you need to create the habit of wanting to do it. And part of why, as I said, I like working with a lot of independent brokerages, teams, agents, is they're hungry. There's nobody that they can lean on to do it instead of them. There's not this magic tool that they have. It's them or it doesn't get done. And so creating those habits is central to actually executing the plan. And it's all in the name. The goals are the goals, but without the plan and without the daily action, it's nothing. It's just words on a page. And we're really passionate about, okay, let's create the plan that works for you and what's sustainable. So your exercise routine likely looks very different than mine, and that's okay, because honestly, my body may not respond to the exercise routine that you have. Anybody that, is a personal trainer or something like that would get that too. And so I think finding what's sustainable in the agent's life, in the brokerage's life, and knowing that you can stick to this plan and you are going to tackle these daily actions, I think that's so important.
So people let's say the scenario is people get coached by you, they create this great plan with you, then you teach them about daily, goal setting and time blocking and planning and that ritual, and then they start and they do it every day for a week, maybe two, and if they're really good, maybe a month, and then you notice they stop doing that.
Yep.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
And what is the fix to get back on it?
Yeah. I think in any business we have an endurance problem. It's you have to be in it for the long game. You have to understand that these daily tasks that are moving the dial forward, you may not see the difference. You may not see the results that day. But it doesn't mean that it's not moving you forward. It doesn't mean that it's any less important. In fact, it's oftentimes more important. And so in real estate especially, we get so driven by, but this deal is paying me money. I've got to focus on this task right now because that's putting money in my pocket tomorrow. And the reality is, you really don't. It's not that you don't have to focus on it at all, but in terms of priorities, you have to be focused on where is that money coming from in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. It's that long game. It's that what happens next. And that's really the people that can ask those questions and are driven by those daily actions that are you planning something that you want to implement by next year. That's building strong foundations that build great habits, that build great success.
So give me some examples of some things that if you're not doing this, that means you're not planning for the 3, 6, 9, 12 months in the future.
Yeah. Prospecting is always the big one. It's where's your business going to be? Agents will oftentimes, when I'm working with agents, I'll ask about their production. I'll ask about their deal flow. We'll talk about what's happening there. And, agents, the reason why we go like this and like this and like this, and it's this constant kind of
ebbs and flows and ups and downs.
Peaks and valleys is these peaks when we're super busy, we don't have time to make the calls, or we feel like we don't have time to make the calls. And carving out the time, even when you're busy, it doesn't get rid of this, but it makes it into this. And it makes it so much more sustainable, so much more consistent. It keeps you relevant even when you're busy. And I think that's really important because you need to be able, whenever I work with agents about implementing plans, I'm saying, is this something that's sustainable when you're at your max? When you're doing as many deals as you can imagine doing right now, could you still do this? And the analogy that I often use is, how many people go to the gym and say, I'm going to run 5 miles every day, realize they really only are in the shape to run 2, and so they run none because they don't want to not hit that goal. It's great to set audacious goals. I'm all for those peak producers, but it's also okay to set sort of these mediocre goals, knowing that you're going to achieve them and knowing that you're building from it. And that society sort of doesn't tell us that's okay, but I feel very differently about that because I know that consistent daily action makes all the difference in the world.
So when you talk, so talk to me about prospecting. What does prospecting mean to you? Is it door knocking? Is it cold calling? Is it calling your database? Is it email? Is it social media direct messaging? Is it whichever one you like? How do you then figure out what is the way for this agent to go get clients?
Yeah. So I think it's kind of a mixture of all of it. Now, I was never a door knocker. Maybe it was because I was a young woman when I was starting in real estate. I just didn't, it was in a downtown area. I didn't feel super safe just knocking doors. I felt awkward doing it. And my feeling was, even if I go out and I do that, I'm not going to do it really effectively because I'm super uncomfortable doing it. And I know that everybody says, like, you grow outside of your comfort zone, and, like, I believe all those motivational quotes too. But at the same time, like, it's important to do things that you're going to, again, consistently do.
Yeah.
And so if you know that you have an audience on social media and you're consistently driving content there, focus there. That's okay. You don't necessarily have to knock doors. I oftentimes liken it to, when you sit down at lunch with a friend, you may not order the same thing. You may get a different cocktail than a friend because you have different tastes, different things that you like. And that's okay, because I think it's so much more important that you're comfortable and genuine in the actions that you're doing, and you will ultimately be way better at it. Like, if you get on video and you're super uncomfortable on video, you look super uncomfortable on video.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that, I'll get agents coming up to me saying, I know I need to do more video. And my answer is normally, you probably don't. Like, if you're not about doing it, you probably don't. But there's some people that get on video and they're super magnetic and you can feel their energy through it. And, like, those people should do more video.
Yeah.
So I think some of it is, when you're young, I know everybody tells you not to do this, but when you're ever getting started out, like, it's almost that spaghetti against the wall theory of try it all, see what fits. I remember when I first started, I went to every free seminar there was because I had no money to, come to something like an Inman Connect or something like that. And I went to every free seminar there was, and some of it resonated, and some of it I probably left before lunch because I was like, this is not my jam. And I think that's okay. Like, different strokes for different folks. And I think we, in the real estate industry especially, kind of get, wow, this is trending, I have to do more of this. And you very well may not.
So think about, the people that you've worked with, agents and brokers. There are certain patterns of mistakes that they make that you notice a lot that you end up fixing. What are some of those common pitfalls and mistakes?
Yeah, so I think the biggest one is you just stop doing the work. And by that, let me clarify that a little. We'll do a lot of the client servicing work. So we'll do the contract to close type stuff. We'll do the showings. We'll do all the things that we think are putting money in our pocket, but we ignore all the things that build our business. And unfortunately, when you get your real estate license, nobody teaches you how to run a business. And I know you can empathize with this, Grant, because you've run a business before. It's different. You have to understand all of the things that are building into your business at any given time and spend time on each of those things every single day. And it's tough. It's hard work. Like, it's not for the faint of heart. But I think the people that are super passionate about it and really should be owning businesses and want to own businesses, they'll do the work. And it's okay if the rest falls out. My thing is, if you're not in it to play the long game, you probably shouldn't be in it at all.
Are there any specific technologies or companies that you think, you routinely get agents and brokers to use that work really well for them and are super useful that people should check out? Yeah,
so I'm a big CRM fan, so contact relationship management. I think they're super important. So some of my favorites, I personally use Contactually. I have for almost 10 years at this point. Big fans of those guys. I have also used Boomtown in the past, big fans of them. But also, besides for the CRM stuff, because I think that's important, you have to continue to build into your contacts, to generate those leads. Like, that is our job. We have to generate more and more business. I also think client-facing products, like things like Real Scout with Andrew Flackner, they're fantastic products because it's taking this clunky back-end system that we have and making it beautiful to the consumer. It's why you've seen the rise of something like Zillow, at least in the U.S., and Canada will see it.
Yeah, we are. It's coming.
But it's why consumers have been driven by something like Zillow, is they're empowered in a really sleek-looking system to do what they believe is the right data. Now, the fact of the inaccuracies and things like that, it kind of falls where it may. The chips fall where they may. And I think that's important for us to understand is the consumer wants to be part of it. Consumer behavior now, what I'm seeing happen is what I felt happening in 2008 when I bought my first home of, I want to put my hands on it. I want to be part of this process. And more the products that are allowing consumers to be part of the process, I think those are huge opportunities for brokers. I think the days of us handling it start to finish and just delivering stats and facts, they're long gone, in my opinion.
Tell us about the future of your business. Like, what's in store? Like, what are you working on?
Yeah, so we are growing like crazy, which thankfully I feel super blessed about that. We work with tons of independent brokerages and teams and agents to help them build plans, implement training, design training, execute the training. But we also have really affordable products that I think that is a big thing that sets us apart from a lot of coaches and consultants. Is when I first started, as I said, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together in terms of training. I was going to all these free events. And so when I created the company, that's really what I wanted, because I believe when agents are getting high quality training earlier, they're getting good coaching earlier, I think it makes a huge difference in your business. Being a business owner now, I still have mentors and coaches that I look to for advice and counsel that have been where I am. And that's something in our industry that was in the past kind of reserved for the top producers. You sort of had to get to a certain level of business before it made financial sense to invest in that way. And I think that's a huge mistake, because then what you're doing is you're breaking bad habits and trying to build good ones instead of building good ones from the start. So we offer a monthly coaching club. It's really affordable. It's $99 a month. We do a free show on Facebook that people can register for each month, where we have guests like someone like yourself. Agents can attend live, but then we also have the subscription product that's $99 a month that has extra resources. You're gaining from that network. You're getting a recording library of all of our episodes. So super easy, super accessible. And the way we've really designed it is the average Compass South client will move up through the ranks of our system and will be a client for life, because that's how I've built every business I've ever been a part of, and not something I plan on losing anytime soon.
Very cool. Now, there's obviously challenges in growing that business, I'm sure. So we have this amazing community of people who might be able to help you with some of your challenges and some of your needs. So when you think about where you want to go as a company and what you got to do to get there, what are some of the challenges and needs that you have?
What are some of the challenges? I guess the unknown. The people that have been through it, like some of the best lessons I've learned have been people that have built similar like-minded companies or other products, and they've just learned from the experience. Almost everyone, you asked the other day, what are your goals when you come to something like this? And I said, I talk to everybody. I want to know what their experience has been. I want to know how they've adjusted, how they've pivoted, when they've known they should pivot, when they've known they should abandon. I think that's the big difference between me and a lot of people, and it has been, if there's a secret sauce, that's probably what it's been for me, is I'm not afraid to say, we got to pivot away from this. This isn't right. And so, I don't know what I don't know, but that's a little exciting too. I think that's the kind of the excitement of being an entrepreneur, is you don't know everything, but you can't wait to find out. Yeah.
How can people get in touch with you?
So you can find me on basically any social media at AV Hellman, or you can always email me at alyssa@alyssahellman.com.
Awesome. Well, hey, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube show and the podcast so you can learn from more real estate experts and moguls and young hustlers like Alyssa. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Me. Yeah, absolutely.
See you next time.